Okay, real talk, guys. I would legitimately pay real world money to watch Freaky Friday. That movie could only be amazing. So, as much as I don't want to say this episode is filler, yeah, this episode is kind of filler. So I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet because I don't think much added to the overall plot to the story or like the arcs of the characters. Maybe there's a bit towards the end with Ida's sister and we'll get to that. But mostly it's just about Luz, Ida, and King just having a ball in each other's body because they decide, you know what? None of us are happy with our lives. None of us enjoy our lives. And I think the other two have it easier. And Ida's like, well, if you guys think my life is so easy and I think your life is easy, body swap, let's just do it. But that's already not a good plan, right? Because there's a bit of plot convenience here, but Ida doesn't take into account when she switches their body that she's the only one that can do magic. King hasn't been shown to do magic. He isn't shown to do magic in this episode. Luz can only do magic with runes, and she doesn't know the spell for swapping bodies. So what was Ida's plan to switch back after they swapped bodies? Because Luz wouldn't be able to do it without intensive training, or at least years worth of training. Or, well, it doesn't even matter what it would have taken because they don't address that at all. But, you know, hijinks ensue because Ida is inside of King's body, Luz is in Ida's, and King and Luz. And that makes sense, right? I think I got that right. It doesn't matter because the episode is really split up into 3 parts. There are 3 separate adventures. Each one pretty fun. Each one pretty wacky. Probably the most important one is Luz in Ida's body towards the end, like I said. But just a quick note before we get to all that. I do legitimately think it's funny that like every single one of them end up in that kitty cafe at the end of their story arcs. Like everyone, it's like that's the conduit of the universe, right? That's where all destiny converges, in that one kitty cafe. It was just horrible. Like, this episode is riddled with plot convenience, and that was probably the biggest one for me. Also, in Ida's story arc, there's this character named Bowtie who only seems to exist to deliver exposition, because as soon as he's done, he turns into a brainless, cute zombie thing. And it was cute, but that's all he was there for. And I, as the viewer, I was like, okay, well, I guess your job is done now, bye. And then Ida's just trapped there. And then King is in Luz's body, and he like takes on some teenagers, and like he like becomes leader of their posse, but then he doesn't, and they come after them. You know, teenager hijinks and antics, I'm sure you know. Although the main girl, Sasha, I think her name is, Basha, I think it's Basha. So the main girl, Basha, I guess she's the bully this time around because Amity and Luz are in love with each other now. So obviously it can't be Amity. That's not confirmed. I just really ship them right now. So fingers crossed. That's why Basha is the new bully, because Amity's in love with her. So like Basha challenges King and Luz's body to this race. And I have to wonder, what was that trail there for? Because she challenges to something called like the dragon's backbone or the demon's spine or something. I don't remember what it was called, but why did that exist? It seemed like it was under construction, but I haven't seen any cars on the Boiling Isles. Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention, but it just seemed like a weird, like, why is that there? I don't know. Also, I guess when the kitty cafe said that no teens were allowed, what they really meant was when a teen shows up, we're going to murder them, because that's what happens at the end of King's story arc. He ends up back in that cafe, and the lady tries to murder him with a broom. She doesn't actually, because later you see him wearing like a volunteer shirt or something, but it was just weird to me that like he was just standing there. In every place I've ever seen where a certain group of people isn't allowed, which there aren't too many where I live, honestly, but when a certain group of people aren't allowed, the worst thing that happens is just like, hey, you're not allowed in here, go out. That's it. That's like all I've ever seen happen. But no, she tries to murder him. That was kind of funny to me, how immediately intense they got about it. But okay, sure, it's a show. Whatever, it's a fantasy world. I shouldn't be thinking too much about it. Except I do, so maybe I'm at fault. And the final one is just Luce in Ida's body, and she starts having a ball. She starts using her magic that she can't control, and she starts using it to like become the best salesman on the Boiling Isles, and that was really fun. Although I don't understand, right? At the beginning of the episode, Ida tells her, hey, I can't have crazy magical signs and start shooting magic out of my fingers whenever I want because I'm on the run. I'm a wanted criminal, and I can't have that kind of heat. And Luce, who she tells that to, she's like, you worry too much. What do you mean she worries too much? You've witnessed firsthand that guards are after her. The episode 1 takes place in the conformatorium prison place or whatever. I feel like Luce would know not to not to be too flashy with magic, but no, whatever. She does. She is. And I guess I kind of give her a pass because like she finally gets to do all the magic she wants. She's finally the witch that she wants to be. And I guess she's excited. She wants to have fun with it, but I just wouldn't have been doing all that flashy magic in the middle of the city. I get she wants to practice magic. I get she wants to have fun. But that just wasn't smart on Luce's part, and I just didn't understand why she would do that. But as you might imagine, she gets captured, she gets taken to jail, they get mugshots taken of her, and that's where you realize that Ida's over 6 feet tall, and you know, dang, man, good for you, good for her. And that's where the part of the episode that might tie into other things, like I was saying, actually comes in, because Ida's sister Lily, I think her name is, shows up. Lilith, maybe, no, I think it's Lily. Either way, she shows up and she's like, hey, Ida, why don't you just join the Emperor's Coven like we wanted to as kids? And then Luce is like, Ida wanted to join the Emperor's Coven? And that's it. That's like the only thing in this episode I can think of that moves the plot forward. There's nothing else really. Luce escapes. They switch back in a way that isn't explained because, like I said, King can't use magic. Ida tries to use magic as King earlier in the episode. So how was he able to switch him back? Plot convenience is the answer. I just didn't want to give the show a pass on that, but it is a filler episode, so I guess, whatever. I'll let it go for now. They literally end, this is how you know an episode is filler. They literally end the show on the idea that, like, you know what? Let's just never talk about that again. And I'm sure they never will talk about this episode again. Just another fun episode, mostly filler. I think moving forward, you might be able to skip this one. But I'm glad I didn't, and I'm glad I watched it. Be safe, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want. You don't have to. I'm not going to make you. There's no gun to your head. But be back for the next one if you'd like. I know I'm going to have to be. So be safe, guys. Also, if you swap bodies, be sure to have a plan for how to swap back, because then you're just stuck.